Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Joined by my co-host, Matty Bissett.
Hello.
I'm 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒. Let's get off into it. My man, you've been a man of research in the education space these days.
A little bit too much.
A current trend in education you're seeing?
Probably the big push for low deviation teaching.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay,
so
talk to me about that.
all of the EDI stuff, the scripting, your
Explicit direct instruction?
Yeah, your very scripted lessons where the teachers, no matter what room they're in, they're delivering the same content at the same time with the same type of script. That's probably the biggest thing that I've seen in the last couple of years.
So we had, EDI was big. I remember breaking it out about 5, even 10 years ago, but it came into the primary school space initially. Mm-hmm. As a primary school person yourself, what are the disadvantages to it? So
especially with the younger kids, like little kids, and for introducing a topic or some content, it's very good because it gets away with all of your misconceptions and things like that, because it is very direct. There's no room for interpretation.
Yeah.
So in some aspects, it's great, but it's not the only way to teach. So there are...
Well, imagine primary school as well. There's so much energy in the room.
Yeah.
You got to make sure there's...
Correct. So when you have these very scripted lessons that are short, they're 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
But when the kids are, 5 and 6 years old, 25 minutes, that's a half a day for them.
Yeah.
Like, they can't sit there for that long.
Yeah.
So that type of scripted lesson, that very explicit lesson, doesn't let kids be kids. So therefore, the behaviour, the low-level behaviours start to creep up.
Right.
And then they creep up and they creep up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these low-level behaviours are now... Kids walking around the room, they're yelling out.
With the strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've done it in the high school level. I'm a fan of it, but I understand that as well. I mean, it doesn't work every lesson either. I mean, it's almost EDI is maybe 1 to 2 lessons, and it probably supports math better as well with the structure behind it. I do like stuff like it's depending on who you go through. You can get companies that have inbuilt check for understanding and then, all your responses and stuff as well. But like anything, it's, there's going to be pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
I think there's,
Absolutely. And
it's not just a one side does everything kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that the people that do it really, really well are few and far between. Because not everyone, I found it very hard to read those scripts, because that's not how I speak. It's not how I deliver content. It's not how I want to teach. There's 5 kids in my class that type of teaching does not work for them at all. They misbehave straight away because they don't. But then you give them a little hands-on type of learning task.
That's where they excel.
Good as gold.
Yeah.
You won't know they're in your classroom for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because they're engaged hands-on. So I think that it does have its place. Like daily reviews and things. They're really good, to catch up on briefly taught content. The research behind that's quite good. But I think once a week for little kids, obviously it's very different with high school kids. They're older and things like that.
Yeah.
But I found that with that explicit scripted lesson, the kids' ability to problem solve and think outside the box is reduced. Because they're so used to being given the answer before the question is asked. They're not asked a question and then forced to find the answer.
No, I think you're right, man. I think everything's got pros and cons.
Yeah.
And again, like in teaching, you do what suits you the best. Got a question for you, Matthew.
Yes, Miles.
Have you ever made a mistake in your teaching career?
If I think back far enough.
Back to early 2000s?
Yeah, I want to say...
Early 2010s.
Heaps.
Absolutely.
All the time.
And me too. I think it's the best way you learn, through mistakes. So look, this episode team, want to take a look at some of the biggest mistakes we've made in our teaching career. Did I tell you I once had a friend who, he was on prac. His prac teacher made him plan a lesson down to every 2 minutes.
Why?
Because that was the way she was doing it, every 2 minutes, and wasn't able to, like, part of his performance management as a mentor teacher, he had to, if he went outside 2 minutes, she would like mark him down. I'm like, that's you. But she'd been teaching for like 20 years at the
2
time.
minutes?
And this is like 2000, the early 2000s, like down to the 2 minutes. I'm like, that's crazy.
What?
I've never done that.
I can't plan to down to the 20 minutes.
But I my life, Matthew,
definitely.
in teaching, and I think you can get carried away with it as well.
And I think actually one of the big mistakes is trying to stick to a very detailed and time-specific lesson plan, because you're so worried about going over or not making that time that you actually waste valuable educational time. Yeah. Kids are only little. They only have so much attention.
Do you think that's the norm with new teachers coming in, that they're very concerned about it? I think it is. And I think they're trying, even if they probably tell themselves not to stress about this, but just creeps up in there.
But again, like we said before, it comes back to they also don't have job security. So they want to make sure that they do absolutely everything perfectly because they're on fixed term contracts. So, and
then you tie into that the anxiety of not having a perfect lesson.
And definitely as the year goes on, you're now in term 4, these teachers are so worried about filling out job applications and doing cover letters for 16 schools that they get so worried. Oh, my 15 lesson introductions now I need to do it. Yeah. It just has a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
And then the kids realise that they're anxious, and then they poke the bear a bit because then they're going to get out of work.
Yes, I think it is. And I've definitely found, I mean, planning can lead to more failure. Then you over-plan, and then you're so, not scared, but you're so worried about going into your lesson going south.
But then under-planning is also a failure as well.
It's a tightrope we walk, Matthew.
It is. But I have to say the biggest failure I ever made was trying some sport. You know,
during math lesson?
No, just kids did really well. They were pre-primary kids. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take them out. We're going to go for a run.
They would love that, wouldn't they?
That's what I thought.
Didn't love it?
None of them had played bull rush before. You know, like tag, like octopus.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, you know what, the grass is a bit slippery. We'll take them to the basketball court.
Oh, good, with the concrete.
Yeah. Nice. Great idea. So that was failure number 1 there, Miles.
But just like no tackles, just like
No, it was just tag. Like octopus, you know, they get tagged, they sit down, and they do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Rather energetic child.
Yep.
Ran full pelt, tripped over his own foot, and...
Oh, head planted.
No, his face was fine. His arm went like that.
Oh.
Yeah, but I had a watch on. So I'm like, his hand was fine because he had a watch on. So I'm like, cool. And then he
gets up and he's fine?
Yeah, he's crying a lot.
Yeah, as you would be.
I was like, mate, you'll be fine. Go sit down.
Brush it off.
Yeah, go sit down, grab some water. It was all good. And then the next day he wasn't at school. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Well, he's fractured in 3 places or something?
Yeah. So his mum comes in 2 days later and goes, look, don't feel bad. I didn't listen to him either. Kept him home because he wouldn't stop whinging.
The kid, right? Yeah, sorry.
And then took him to emergency care at 5 p.m. He had like 2 fractures in his arm. He's like, and the mum didn't listen to him either because he was crying all the time. He cried all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So she's like, he'll be fine. That's probably my biggest mistake. Miles?
How's that, mate? Taking kids out for sport and kid fractures their arm?
Yeah, and I just brushed it off because I thought it was fine.
That's how you do it, though.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
After that, we definitely made sure that we played on the grass, even if it was wet.
Yep. Yep. Have I tell you the Windex story? So I'm 3rd or 4th year into my teaching career. I've just come down from the country. I'm teaching math. My classroom's in a demountable. The math office is the other side of the school. Demountable is one side of the school.
That's great planning.
I'm running late or something, or it might be recess, so I leave my classroom, go to the office with all my stuff in the hand. As I'm walking down, I think the door's open. Doesn't realise there's a big floor-to-ceiling glass pane. So it's recess. We had a bunch of tables around and the grass area outside. I walk straight into the glass panel, loud enough to make it thump. Look around, go, no one saw me. Look around, everyone's seen me. And I've got a couple of, I'm like first, maybe early 2nd term into my new job at this school. Turn around, there's a couple of year 11 girls I teach who are notoriously cheeky. Just go, sir, cleaners are doing a good job, aren't they? and started calling me Windex for the next 9 months. So my point there being is, if I was going to dish it out to students, you've got to be able to accept it as well.
Absolutely.
And you can't. And because I was younger and stuff, you have a bit of banter with the students, and these particular students was, in class. The banter was there, but they had it over me for the next 9 months, had leverage on me, and I'm like, how are you ever going to face it? And to be honest, it was
That's
fine.
pretty funny.
But you're like, yeah, this is what teaching is. It's not just, kids not listening. They were great students and stuff, but it's just, have humility, I guess, in teaching.
Yeah, you have to.
You're going to be on show all the time.
Yeah,
Pride will disappear at times.
I forget a fair bit, Miles. And I also love to fidget. It's killing me not having a fidget toy right now.
Doing well.
I am, but I had a whole bunch of magnets once.
Right.
And those little ball magnets, and they were great to play with.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use them up the front of my classroom to stay focused so I can continue my lesson.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and then a whole bunch of the kids go, Mr. Bissett. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you stop talking, you're playing your magnets again. I'm like, put them down. So, you have to, be.
He's trying it out for the kids to see if they worked.
And they worked a lot.
Straight to market. How do you go? Were you a big yes man to start with, saying yes to extracurricular activities? More responsibility?
I think I said yes to a lot.
Yeah.
But only because I wanted to say yes to them.
Okay.
So I didn't do running club. I didn't do after school sports. And
what are the main extracurriculars in primary to pre-primary space?
Yeah, you've got...
Like, are camps still a thing?
They are.
Yeah.
But I always said no to camps.
Right.
One, because I was in pre-primary and the year 6 kids would go.
Yeah.
So why would I go?
Yeah.
Two, I would say no because I had young kids.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be away from my kids.
Yeah.
Especially with kids I don't really know.
No, absolutely.
But, your extra ones are... staying back to,
different clubs and stuff.
Yeah, morning running club, breakfast club, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So instead of saying yes to breakfast club, I said, why don't I go and find someone to donate food to us?
Oh, yeah, good.
So I would say yes, and then I would give up my dot time to go on all these different places and get all the food to bring it to class, bring it back to school, and then someone else would go and make
the local businesses?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And then, so we did that. And then it wasn't my idea, but I was involved in it. We started we started with the Fathering Project.
What's that?
It's a project to get dads and kids to spend more time together in positive ways.
Yeah, nice.
So my deputy at the time started the group. We took over it because our parent body wasn't very interactive.
Right.
So my biggest extracurricular was planning all the events that we did.
Yep.
Answering emails, taking phone calls, finding prizes,
all
that type of stuff. And that did take a lot of time.
Yeah. Is this how far back you're looking, like 10?
That would have been 10 years ago.
Yeah, which is still... was all pretty hard.
Eight years
it seems like sort of more the importance of father figures is bigger these days, more in the eyes of people, whereas back then, probably not so much.
So all of the extra stuff I did, and I did a lot of, finicky little, change this document over, read this person's this, and but it's because I wanted to, not because I thought I was expected to do it. Because I said no.
Yeah.
To as many things as I said yes to.
Well, now you flip it to now.
Moment.
I mean, it's probably a bit different. You're in a different line of... You're in a different position.
Yep.
Is it much... Even to, 4 or 5 years ago, were you taking on as much? Or you're more...
Different. Yeah. Again, I would say yes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was value in them.
Yeah.
I would say no to more things because I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I am getting better at saying no.
Yeah.
But I'll always... if I'm like, that's a great idea. Let's go with that.
It can be...
So it sucks because I like the idea and I want it to get off the ground, but then I have to be the one to do it. So then that's an extra thing that I've said yes to.
Do you think... I think you get to a point where you banked enough goodwill as well. Like I know, so the big thing in high school, especially the lower years, is camps. There's not so much these days.
Yep.
And when you're taking on, like, I did year coordinator and role early, especially in the company, in the country, you're going to camps, hours away.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of planning in that. The other one, so I did those for years. Then you did like the school ball, which I had 10 years flat, of doing and going there, which is good. Whereas now I think, and other things as well, but you go through and you do so much in your younger career that you're like, you know what, I've got enough will, what I've banked up here, which might be a weird way of looking at it. Be like, you've been there and done that. Whereas I don't I see graduates, I'm not having a crack at graduates, but I see graduates these days, they seem to be a bit more standoffish. That might just be me at the different schools I've worked at. I think also I was thinking about the other day, it's going to be hard for a new graduate to say no at times. As much as people go, you can't say no. If you've got, and I'm not saying anyone in particular is doing this, but if you've got someone above you, a line manager going, look, we need you to be here, or we want you to be here, and you're a 23, 24-year-old new teacher, it's going to be hard to go, nah.
Well, I think that with COVID and changed everything, people have now done a lot more of the work's not everything. You know, like we need to have a better work-life balance. And I think that post-COVID, more people are saying no to all that stuff than pre-COVID.
Right.
Because before, you're right, now people like post-COVID, like, you're right, I've done 10 years of camps. I don't want to do this anymore. Where pre-COVID, you'd be like, oh, you know what?
And it seemed,
we need to help, you know, like.
And it seemed like that was the thing, the teaching community was more like you put your hand up and then it's your turn to put your hand up. Yeah. Whereas now it just feels like it can be the same people putting their hand up all the time. You're like, why am I keep getting hammered with all this? And that was not just not having a whinge here, but it's just, it can, you know, like anything, like your local sporting club, you're the dad that's always coaching, or you're the mum that's always doing the scoring or coaching.
Or the washing.
Or the washing.
Local teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm getting better at saying no, but I still need to work.
But yeah, like anything, it's a discipline, isn't it? Forgetting to celebrate the small wins. Do you celebrate the small wins?
In my line of work now,
yeah,
we only really have small wins.
Yeah.
So
what's a recent small win you've celebrated?
How do I say this?
Without naming names.
Yeah, or giving a story away that'll... So a student would, with chronic non-attendance for many, many years, is consistently turning up for maybe a period or two a week, a day.
Yeah.
So still not a whole day.
Yeah.
Still not doing all their work and things like that. But they are at school.
Yeah.
They're pleasant.
Yep.
They're not swearing. They're not fighting. They're not trashing the room. So just that in itself is huge.
Yeah.
So every time they turn up, we celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't expect them to do any work. It'd be great if they did do work, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
You know, they're not work ready.
Yeah.
Which
is where the relationships come in. If you're a teacher that doesn't understand that, then you push that kid too early. They're like, well, F this.
Yeah, and they won't come back.
Yeah, it was all that drama. It was all that challenges to get to class.
So whenever, like, obviously we work with some quite complex kids, and every small win, the fact that they come to school and they stay awake because they got a good night's sleep the night before. Yeah. Celebrate that. Yeah. You know, give them a certificate, give them some food, you know, whatever. Like, the only way to get those hard to engage kids to engage more is to celebrate every little thing that they do. Don't overpraise them. Like, I love how you breathed. Yeah. That was some good, quiet breathing.
The kids see it straight away.
Yeah. But like, if you say, I love that smile, you tried really hard, you got frustrated, you didn't tell me to do something to myself.
It's that direct praise, isn't it?
Sort of smiled a little bit. Yeah. Nice work. Good job. You know, like that type of, those little wins are what, consistent little wins is what gets kids feeling like they belong, feeling like they're part of the team. Yeah. And gets them coming back.
And I guess tying back to actually looking at, you know, the biggest mistakes, I can find at times I forget to celebrate the small wins. Something as simple as a student who's constantly late to most classes comes to your class on time, doesn't do a heap of work, but he's in class and he's not being disruptive. You know, I think you can get caught up in teaching with so much going on, on being bombarded by everything bad. It can feel like you're pulled in every different direction. Yep. But if you can just go, look, you know, either one or two good things that happen during the day or happen during the lesson.
Even if you look at like that kid that comes late to class, on time in your class, and they might actually read a question out loud, or they might put their hand up to answer a question.
Or attempt some of the set work.
They might get it wrong by far, but they're confident enough to put their hand up and answer the question. Yeah. Well done. Praise them. Good job. Small win. They didn't get it right, but they're part of the team. Yeah. You know, that sense of belonging, that sense of community is what's going to get them back
Yeah.
to answer more, to learn more.
One of the best things, like one of the best pieces of advice I got in my early year teaching, just from a consultant who'd been a teacher and ex-principal, was that, look, anything you get throughout your teaching career from a student that thanks you in any way, just keep it. And also, so high school is, like Christmas cards, and students, especially in year 12, write letters of thanks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And there's times, like I've got a box there, but you go back to over the years and you're like, I remember that student. I remember the first I had him in year 9, what the battles were, and then to get to year 12, and you're like, you know what, that's when the teaching makes sense again. For me, anyway.
That's so, like, obviously being in pre-primary, the parents and the kids like to bring you gifts and things at the end of the year. I always say, I don't want a gift. I don't want chocolates. I don't want anything.
I had a mate who his wife
Gave
was
a list.
Primary school teacher. So high school, basically a thanks, and that's it.
Good job.
Wife would get like just these crazy presents, and he took pictures once. I'm like, this is incredible. Anyway, sorry.
But I would always say, I don't want anything.
Yeah.
Just write me a letter, make me a card, draw me a picture, and I don't have a whole bunch of, because most of them would still bring gifts and things, but all of those cards that have the child's writing on the inside, thank you, Mr. Bissett, they're all in my cupboard still.
Yeah, nice.
Like, don't know where those kids are now. They'll all be in high schools, in various places. But there's those little things, like that means that they took the time to write.
Yeah.
And they kids hate writing. They're not going to write their teacher.
Yeah, and they did so because you made enough difference, or you made a difference in their life.
And I still remember, it's a lot easier for me because I had the one set of kids all day.
Yep.
But I would call them Mr. or Miss, whatever their surname is, because then they thought, I'm the same. And those little things, just those little type of things.
It goes a long way.
Because you want the kids to like coming to class.
Yeah.
They're not going to like coming to class by having cool work, are they? No one wants to work. We get paid and we don't want to work. Like...
Absolutely. I think we'll keep the momentum going here, my man. Wrap us up. Your final comments.
Final comments.
So biggest mistakes in teaching.
You will make mistakes.
And
You're
make
always
them
going to make
fast and make
mistakes.
them hard.
Yeah. And remember that fail means first attempt in learning, Miles. That was a poster on my wall for ages.
Yeah, you need it. My favourite one over again, and you'll eventually get there.
That's it. One makes mistakes, and you have to learn from those mistakes, and hopefully you don't make them again.
Absolutely.
But you probably will.
Do you want to look down the camera face there, mate, and sign us off?
Thank you for listening to my news, everyone.
Like I always say, we appreciate it. Catch you next time.